For all your TCG needs, make sure to check out sabatcg.com. What's poppin', everybody? It's the Saber94, gonna be discussing the big One Piece news recently, the announcement for the rotation for the TCG, similar to Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. Before I get to my thoughts on that, which if you're familiar with my channel, you know already where I stand on this, I want to express how surprised I am by this news because I didn't think Bandai was going to do it, because I know that everybody, or most everybody, they hate rotations and they want to have the freedom of their perceived freedom of, oh, every card is available, that's better, just like Yu-Gi-Oh! So ironically, I think that I was playing Digimon, and then when Digimon went crazy, I quit. I thought that, okay, Digimon, that game definitely needs a rotation, and One Piece, it would be best with a rotation, but it could be alright without a rotation too. And ironically, they implementing a rotation system on One Piece, which might have been alright with or without a rotation. It's either going to be a neutral thing, it won't matter, or it's going to be a positive thing. But with Digimon, I definitely thought they need a rotation. I always noticed the little like devil fruit with the number on the cards. And then I thought, what is this? Are they going to eventually implement a rotation and they're not telling us? But I'm thinking, maybe it doesn't matter, because I knew that everyone hates rotations. Every time I talked about them in other videos, how it would be a good thing for Digimon and One Piece, I always get flack. But people really need to understand that just because a game doesn't have a rotation, you really don't have the freedom you think you do. Like, I'm using Yu-Gi-Oh! Footage here for this video. If you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh!, does everything going on here in these games you see reflect how Yu-Gi-Oh! Was 10, 15, especially 20 years ago, in like the GX era and the OG era, even the 5Ds era? No, because whether there's a rotation or not, the companies, they want to sell the new cards, they want you to use the new cards to freshen up the game, and they're going to get to that one way or the other. So why the rotation is a good system is because it's going to get rid of the cards that are going to be weaker, okay? And they're not going to be that effective anyway. Like, is everybody just using, for competitive decks, only cards from the first and second set? No, you're using new cards, the new leaders are stronger, and all of these cards that are available anyway, they become irrelevant in the competitive scene. So this whole freedom of, the cards that I paid for are gonna be useless, fuck this game. No, dude, you can still use the cards you paid for. You still got them in your collection. You still got them in your house. It's not like Bandai is gonna come and confiscate them from you. You just won't be able to use them in events. You know, I never understood this sort of mega serious way that people look at things. Oh, if I'm not going to play the game, I need to sell my collections. I got to get rid of my cards if I quit. No. Are you only like a fan of the TCG just to play it for competitive? You don't want to keep your cards. You don't want to have a collection. Use your cards playing at home casually or something? Never understood that. So you can still use your cards. And now with the rotation, there's going to be errors. There's gonna be, what's the word? Like separating positions where we can say, okay, this is this One Piece era. This is with this One Piece era, set from 1 to 12, legal sets. That's sort of era. Kind of like how, if you go to Jason Klaczynski's WordPress page, you know, he splits all the Pokemon TCG eras by their generation, basically. And those are the best formats, the cards that belong together. Now, like I've said in the beginning, maybe if there wasn't a rotation for One Piece, it wasn't going to make that much difference, and they were just going to have banned cards here and there, and then eventually they'd end up like Yu-Gi-Oh!, then it would be bad. But it's pretty good because it freshens up the game, just like Pokemon. You know, when the rotation happens, there's a sort of excitement because you think, okay, these cards are going away, how are we going to update the decks, build the decks? And it's necessary. It just proves to me that Bandai has decided that One Piece is their most serious game. They really want it to be long term. I mean, it definitely has defeated Digimon and Dragon Ball and all the other games in terms of popularity and sales. So they're being really serious about it, and this is a very good long-term decision. Everybody's saying, oh, I can't use my cards and shit. No, you can't, just not in tournaments. You weren't going to be able to use them anyway. As cards become stronger, you can already sort of see it. I've already noticed it, and people don't understand it. You look at the cards from OP9 and OP10, they've already started to have a lot of like double effects and floating effects. Like you got the red cards for the Punk Hazard. They get their effect, and then they got the when this card dies, I draw a card, floater. The Blackbeard cards, they're the same. We're getting into this sort of position, just like with Yu-Gi-Oh! The newer cards, they're going to be better, and then the older cards, they're not going to be as good anyway. Like my favorite leader in terms of art is the ST3 Crocodile. OG, manga artwork, super cool. Is he better than Boa Hancock and the new yellow-blue Nami that's going to come out? No. Maybe you can use some of his only archetype cards, like the Baroque cards that works for him, but it's still going to be like a weaker tier rogue deck. It's not going to be as good as Flamingo or Boa, for example. Everybody complaining how they hate this and think that every card being available means freedom. You gotta see the bigger picture. Not to mention, it's not as dramatic as people make it out to be, because I don't know about Magic the Gathering, I would imagine it's the same, but with Pokemon and even Yu-Gi-Oh! When you think about it, cards are reprinted all the time. So I believe that they've confirmed that if a card, let's say an older card from like the older sets, like from the starter deck, Crocodile, Gecko Moria, summon him, add 7 Warlords of the Sea from the grave in your hand. If it got reprinted in like a newer set or a newer product, it can still stick around. So it's just like Pokemon basically, or how Pokemon used to be. Like even in Yu-Gi-Oh! They could have done this. They reprint cards so many times that even if there was a rotation in Yu-Gi-Oh!, like all of the cards like MST and Monster Reborn, they'd still be around anyway. Most of the best cards, they got reprinted in EB1. So I believe that counts as a set that it would keep the cards around. I haven't checked the little number on it, but I don't think it's going to be, well, actually that might not count. But nevertheless, they're going to be reprinting cards. A lot of the better cards are going to still remain around in the format. Just like Pokemon, you got maybe your favorite Pokemon and there's a deck based around it. It's the same with One Piece with the rotation. There's a leader right now you may like for, I don't know, like Rob Lucci. When it goes away, eventually they're going to make another one that's going to be good. Maybe different color, maybe it's going to play differently, but it's going to be something different. I mean, I'm already waiting for a new cool Crocodile leader card, because the blue one is just too weak. It's not the end of the world, and it is best for the health of the game. If you think that because of a rotation, all the cards you buy, you can't use them apparently and they're useless, that's your problem. For me, I've always sold cards that I really don't need or have extra copies of. I don't just sell my cards, okay, Yu-Gi-Oh's bad now, I'm just gonna sell all my cards for no reason. No, you keep them around and you can play casually those older formats that you enjoy with other people maybe. It doesn't mean they're useless. Another thing that I want to say before I forget, rotations keep the game more grounded too. If you have experience playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And even the Pokemon TCG expanded format, I think this is true in like every format you can think of. It's like a staple rule. The more cards are around in a card pool format, available in the card pool, let's just say that, the bigger the chances are for wacky, broken combo decks to be created and for the format to become crazy, broken, and like really fast. It makes the designers always think, okay, if we print this card, it's going to create this problem, this is going to happen, we got to be careful, we got to make all these extra clauses. And it screws up card designing too, to an extent. Now, I do believe cards need to be balanced no matter what anyway, and they always got to be careful. If they make a card too broken, it needs to have conditions, but the rule still stands that the bigger the card pool is, the more of a clusterfuck the format becomes. Pokemon TCG Expanded is the ultimate proof of that, and Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, of course. When you mix up a lot of the new broken cards along with some of the most broken cards from the olden days, you get crazy results. Like, I remember a couple of years ago when I was still playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, that new FTK that got created, the key card was Cyberstein, an older card, but a lot of like newer cards facilitated that combo, made that possible. It was like a machiner's FTK too. So, do you want the game to keep resembling the game you know and be grounded and more balanced, or do you want it to end up broken and crazy like Yu-Gi-Oh? Okay, I think these are all the raw thoughts I got on this. I don't think I forgot anything, but maybe I did. I do want to repeat what I said in the beginning though. I am pretty surprised, and I didn't see it coming, to be honest, because I know that the majority of people are narrow-minded and they really just can't see the bigger picture. They believe in, if there's not a rotation, you got the ultimate freedom, which is wrong. And I am pretty surprised. I didn't think Bandai would do this because everybody would hate it. So I hope all the people that say they're gonna quit and they hate this so much, either they're just talking to talk, or they're gonna come around, or maybe if we lose a bunch of people, more people come in and the game still remains healthy. Because I do think this is, in the long run, the best decision. Ironic, once again, because I think that Digimon would be better with a rotation system. It needed it much more than One Piece, but I guess Bandai did it the other way around. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and share it with your friends. You can tell me in the comments how wrong you think I am and how much you hate this, but you really can't win an argument with me against this. I really just stand with this 100%. I've always believed, after a lot of research and after a lot of analysis, looking at how Yu-Gi-Oh! It's become after what happened, Pokemon TCG expanded, playing it for a long time, rotations are the way to go. You can't convince me otherwise. So sub to the channel, leave a like, share the video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. What up?